14. The pace car is off the field, side by side, rows of two as they make their way on to the front straightaway. Race number 3 in the Indy Pro 2000 Championship.
They're lining them up side by side. Miller on the inside, Foster on the outside. Time to go racing to cap off Indy Pro. We're there. Green, green, green. And a good jump for Jack William Miller. His teammate Louis Foster tucks right in back behind, but now they'll go side by side. We wonder whether or not they'll be clean through turn number 1. Foster trying to go around the outside. He's got a good run through there, and he had to check up. Almost like he potentially going to drive off the outside. Jack William Miller's been able to pull out of the corner. That could have been chaos again for the two exclusive Autosport drivers, but instead, out of the opening couple of corners through the switchback for the first time, and it will be a lead for Jack William Miller. One driver having to go through the cut-through. Otherwise, Louis Foster and Reese Gold slotting into second and third.
Yeah, good start. Jack William Miller, as you had said, got that nice jump coming down the front straightaway as we have Juven Sundar making a move to the inside, trying to get around Reese Gold, unable to do so. So Sundar going to stay in that 5th position, battles further back in the field. But for Jack William Miller, he needs to hold on for 25 more times here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Again, his teammate Louis Foster, the two had contact in race number 2 as Miller sets up for the right-hander in turn number 12.
So as again the drivers are heading towards the front straightaway of the Oval Complex, turn number 14 to be precise, before they get back to that point. We'll give you the running order as they hit the front straightaway coming up here in just a matter of moments. Jack William Miller, Foster, Gold currently in 3rd. Siegel and Sundar have made some moves. Right now it is Siegel into 3rd. That is the big move here on lap number 3.
Now we see Reese Gold make a move to the inside of Nolan Siegel. He will take over that 3rd position as the field gets through the north end of the course through turns 1 and 2. Greg Rakestraw joining us back in the public address booth as Rob Howden heads down. They will do a local podium celebration for the drivers in the USF 2000 series. Lap 2 of 25 in the Indy Pro 2000, race number 3. Jack William Miller trying to find himself victorious here in his home track for the very first time, but he has a battle on the outside. Louis Foster, both of the drivers lock him up into turn number 7. Jack William Miller able to hold on, now be able to gap himself 2 car lengths over his teammate Louis Foster, but Reese Gold is there, the winner of race number 2. He's in that 3rd position.
Yeah, behind that, Braden Eves has made a move. He has made a move up into 6th. Wyatt Brkacek has actually jumped a spot as well, going into a spot number 9. Green and Missig also on the move up in spots 11 and 12. That, of course, is at the back end of this lead pack. Again, cars about to get back to the front straightaway coming up in a matter of moments. And at the front of the field, it remains the drivers that started 1st and 2nd are running that way as well. Jack William Miller currently in 1st, Louis Foster in 2nd at the start-finish line.
And Louis Foster had that move on the opening lap, played nice and did not take his teammate out or potentially take his teammate out as he checked up into turn number 1, but he has a run again as we look towards the front of the field. The battle for the lead as Louis Foster to the inside of Jack William Miller. He will lose that advantage as we have one of the drivers using the runoff. Now 2 drivers losing the runoff, but back up to the front of the field, there was a battle for the lead. Louis Foster and Jack William Miller. Louis Foster will come out with the lead as the field makes their way through the switchback. Reese Gold still in that 3rd position.
Now, Siegel has dropped back to the number 5 position after being in 3rd just a couple of moments ago. Again, this kind of follows what it has been throughout the course of this event. It has been very racy in all of the different levels. But right now at the front of the field, it is Foster that has passed Miller. Here's we are on lap number 3.
This is what we expected out of Louis Foster to try to get that first win. He was so consistent, Greg, over the first 4 races of the season. 3 podiums, another top 5. Just a great gate out of the run. And here you go here. Now he's got open racetrack. For the first time he's out front. Nobody challenging him. Can he pull away? That's going to be the question for Louis Foster.
Well, already we're starting to see a little bit of a gap. Again, we'll get the timing and scoring coming up here in a matter of moments. But just the eyeball test tells you he's got the gap that you want to have going down the front straightaway where the aerodynamics play such a huge part.
Did you see that? A very different entry onto the front straightaway. Kept it really low and again pulled away. That broke the draft immediately. Normally we see the drivers get the best run out they possibly can. That's where Jack William Miller went, and indeed allowing him to get a bit of a gap coming down. Lots of racing further back as a driver spinning around. Lindsey Brewer having to go around. That's the number 3 of Josh Green looping it around, coming into the braking zone. Lindsey Brewer with nowhere to go had to take the escape route as she was on the outside there. Charles Finelli sliding through, but again up front it is Louis Foster for Exclusive Autosport and Jack William Miller. The new technical alliance for Miller Vinatieri Motorsports with Exclusive Autosport has put them both P1 and P2. And Yuvan Sundaramurthy was on the podium earlier today doing a great job back there, P3 right now.
And again, while Yuvan did not make the move on Miller for second going into the entrance of turn number 7, Yuvan is starting to look that way. So if it didn't set it up on this lap, look for it in a lap or two, trying to size up exactly what that racing line needs to be to move from third to second.
Yeah, and I talked to him earlier today, and he was very comfortable with the car. We saw a replay of what happened there. It looked to me like that Josh Green may have just got the car too deep into the corner and potentially locked it up and rotated it. I don't know whether there was any contact, but around he went. And as we had said before, Lindsey Brewer having to take evasive maneuvers to get through there. We're watching the battle right now here as well. That is third and fourth as Reese Gold, who's already a winner on the day here in Indy Pro 2000, now finds himself challenging. He's going to go to the outside of Sundar. Potential trouble, I thought, there for Jack William Miller. They closed right up on him into the braking zone.
Well, back to the front of the field, though, we talked about the gap. That once Foster made that move, how much could he extend that lead? Literally from lap 3 to lap 4, that lead extended from 0.6 of a second almost to a full second from first to second.
Almost contact coming through turn number 3 between Anam Ahmed and Kiko Portal. Portal having to do evasive maneuvers and was shot way outside the racetrack. I will say this, Greg, Foster obviously had the drive-through penalty, tail the field in race 2, but he was putting up fast lap after fast lap after fast lap in that race. Has the fast lap here as well. If he gets out here with the win, he's going to say, I'm happy for the victory, but he's going to lament the fact that there was a lot more, I think, on the table this weekend.
We have seen one pass for the lead so far between Foster and Miller, but the action is heating up. The drivers right behind them, Sundaramurthy, Gold, Eves, and Siegel. And Siegel briefly was in third, now has slotted back to 6th. We may see a different driver in third for these leaders the next time they come down the front straightaway.
Yeah, only 5 laps into a 25-lapper. Bianca Bustamante joining us as our driver analyst, driver of the USF Juniors program with IGY6 Motorsports. Bianca, when you come to a racetrack like this and you've got a lot of racing going and you're struggling, you're not getting the results you want, what do you got to do as a driver to make sure you're focused for the final race of the weekend?
It can get really frustrating knowing that you have so much pace in you and you just can't show it on track, and whenever you do, there's always incidents that hinders it. So I guess going for the final push on the last race is always really important. You know, even though if you're not at the top of the podium or anything, you really need to show that you got the pace. So at least you can come home saying that we were fast.
That's true, right?
And that's really what matters.
That's it, yeah. At least you're taking something home from the race,
yes.
right? Driver coming into pit lane, Jonathan Brown for Turn 3 Motorsports. An issue with Jonathan pulling off in pit lane, so it's not been a great weekend. Started fantastically, Greg. He qualified on the pole position, putting together a very tidy lap on the final circuit in qualifying to go P1 in the opening race, but just hasn't got it, man. He had an incident in the opening race and looks like a mechanical here in race number 3.
So again, likely finishing in 15th to be Brown because D'Alba never took the green flag in this race to finish 16th. By the way, we can confirm, let's go back, Reese Gold did make the move around Yuvan Sundaramurthy, so he is currently in third. Our last race winner from just a couple of hours ago, currently in a podium position with a lot of race left to go.
And man, we talk about confidence and momentum so much with these young drivers, right? We'll always say that if a driver has not yet scored that first victory, once they do, the floodgates open, right? They may win 4 or 5 races. For Reese Gold, a couple of wins on the year, to be able to have the win earlier in the day, knowing that he's going to be good in the second race.
Speaking of opening, in the span of 4 laps, Louis Foster has stretched his lead by a full second on Jack William Miller. After he first made that pass, it was 0.6 of a second. Now it's 1.6 seconds at the front. Again, as some of the best racing is taking place right now back in the field, as Porto and Brkacek are battling it out for 9th place heading into the infield.
That was a beautiful pass by Wyatt Brkacek. Got the toe, went to the outside. Kiko, of course, defending to the inside as you would, but he was able to roll the outside of the racetrack, got it to the exit point before Kiko did, and just rolled it back through turn number 2. Just a textbook outside pass for Wyatt Brkacek in the Jay Howard driver development machine. What a good drive for Wyatt. He's had a strong weekend overall here, and now into the 9th position.
Let's point out that Jonathan Brown has gotten back onto the racetrack. So again, he is not going to factor into the decision today, but it is as much about turning laps and gaining experience here. And let's face it, it's always good to have that car on the track when you've got sponsors at a facility like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So Brown is back on the race course currently in 15.
You know, we talked about this as well in USF 2000. We've had so many drivers that have had an issue. No one's had consistently front-running results. No one's really taken control. So you get a guy like Alex Quinn who comes in and scores 3 wins, missing the first 4 races, and he finds himself 7th in points. It's almost the same a little bit here in Indy Pro 2000, although he had 2 rough races. Louis Foster with a victory today would be only 7 points behind unofficially as we look at it now. Here comes Reese Gold, though. He's going to take a run here at Jack William Miller, who runs second. So we have a fight for P2. Leader up the road, Greg, but Reese Gold starting to put some pressure here on Jack William Miller, and if he gets by, it would pad that point lead a little bit.
Yeah, nobody is enjoying the fight for second and third more than Louis Foster is, because as that battle is taking place, Jack William Miller's got to look behind him and not in front of him.
That's it.
And again, Foster added another half second to his lead when they crossed the yard of bricks. He is 2.1 seconds clear of the field right now.
You've always got to split that focus, right? It's 100% focus forward. Then if you got the defense, then you're kind of splitting that. Maybe it's 70-30, 50-50, whatever it may be. Foster goes fastest last time by, again, a 123.634 fast lap, worth a bonus point, as well as is leading the most laps of the race. We're only 8 laps in. There's a chance for him to claw another point closer to Reese Gold, but if Gold is able to get by Jack William Miller, that would be a number of points as well. 5, I believe, the gap between, actually 3, the gap between second and third. So there's an opportunity for Gold to continue moving forward.
As we set up the battle last time heading into turn number 1, it was Gold that looked to the outside. Let's see if he goes the same track or tries to dive inside as those 2 cars lead a 4-car train down the front straightaway.
And the toe is just so huge here down the straightaway. Miller's going to get himself down to the inside of the racetrack a little bit, goes back out wide. Oh, little right side lockup for Reese Gold, and that's, right into the back comes Sundaramurthy, and here comes Braden Eves around the outside, a double book it, takes 2 spots. That was kind of odd to see. We did see the right front lockup from Reese Gold, even in the win earlier today, Greg, but he locks it up. Yuven Sundaramurthy trying to roll the center, nowhere to go. He center punches the rear attenuator, and that allows Eves to do an over-under to get both of them.
While Eves gets 2 places and gets to a podium position, the biggest winner from that fracas might be Jack William Miller, because for the first time, really in 3 or 4 laps, he's got some open air, not just in front of him, but behind him. Now he can be looking forward at least until the next time we go into turn number 1.
And that'll be the call from his spotter, right? You are clear in the back. They'll tell him he's got a gap of over, 3/10 of a second, half second, whatever it may be. Every driver wants to hear that they've got a multi-second gap behind, allowed to focus fully forward on trying to close up. Here's the replay of it right now. Come in here, watch for the right front lockup. Yep, so back rolling through. Can't quite get back on the throttle because he's got to keep the car on the track. Nowhere to go for Sundaramurthy. He runs right into the gearbox, and this is just a classic over-under for Braden Eves. Saw the chaos happening in front of him, wide on the entry, pinched it down to the bottom, and then just rolled all the way around the outside in turn number 2.
As we show you that replay on the video boards, those drivers are now back into the infield section of the track. They have made their way through turn number 1, and that was about as gapped out as our first 5 had been. Again, at this point, Foster has really got some significant space. He is 3 seconds clear of those 4 cars that are batting for second through 5th. But again, those cars are now stretched out a little bit for the first time really since this race began.
Well, here's the thing. Race number 7 on the season. Louis Foster probably could have won any of the races on the year, to be honest. But coming into his first ever street race in St. Petersburg, took it a little bit easier, got a good feel for the car. What they struggled with over the first 2 weekends, St. Petersburg and Barber, was him really optimizing the tires during qualifying. Did not have good qualifying. You're a little further back on those tracks, as you know, Greg. Not easy to pass on St. Petersburg and Barber. A lot more overtaking opportunity here at IMS, but they turned things around. He was able to maximize the tires, qualified really well, was in the front row essentially for all 3 races. So that's what's changed for Foster, a better starting spot, giving him better odds at trying to go for his first race win.
Yeah, no passes currently on the track. We had plenty of them in the first 8-9 laps of this event. But again, right now our focus goes back to the front and Louis Foster. His lead at the line was 3.1 seconds last time. Now on lap number 10, again, it stretches by nearly half a second. He is 3.6 seconds clear of the field.
Wyatt Prokopchik going to make a move. His charge forward continuing. He'll drop it to the inside in turn one. Prokopchik down to the bottom to the inside of Kaminsky. Book it. He's through. Wyatt Prokopchik now working his way up to the 8th position. May not be done yet for Prokopchik as he's got Siegel and Ahmed in front of him. Let's go back to Bianca Bustamante, our driver analyst, our USF Juniors driver. Bianca, I know you don't have a lot of races. Obviously, you've only run, 6 races, I think, in your career in terms of car racing, but lots of karting events. What has it been like for you coming out of karting and in those qualifying sessions, trying to maximize the tires, something brand new to you?
It's honestly, it's like so crazy because like different tires are different way to approach them, and during quali, it's just so tough to get that one lap, like that one amazing lap that just puts you in the top position. And you know, it's like the session's so long, and like karting where you only get to do 3 to 4 laps and you come in, you try to preserve the tires, but here you really need to keep on pushing, and there's like so much pressure because everyone's just so close together. It's so packed.
That is it. The same way in USF Juniors, Greg, as it is here in Indy Pro and USF 2000. One little slip up on that magic lap, you know, when you're really going for that big lap. You hear the INDYCAR guys talk about it all the time. That magic lap, they've got to leverage the reds. Same thing in the road to Indy. If you're just not right there on that magic lap, you find yourself with issues. But if you can qualify well, like Louis Foster is, you're out to a 4.1 second advantage.
Let's talk about the gentleman that is on your screen right there, Enam Ahmed, because he has made up 3 positions from the start of this race. He started inside row 5 in 9th position. He is currently in 6th. What he has also done is he has kind of bridged that gap. Those top 5 had kind of distanced themselves from the group from 6 on back. Ahmed now has gotten within 0.6 of a second of Sunamaruthi in 5th. So, again, not exactly a side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel action right now, but that kind of tail end of the, I wouldn't say tail end of the lead lap, but those group from 6 on back, they've gotten closer to that fastest 5 at this point.
It's been an interesting year, Greg, for Enam Ahmed. He's been pretty consistent. He was very strong at St. Petersburg, but got into the wall in race number 2. They were really good. Juncos Hollinger Racing rolled off the trailer at Barber Motorsports Park as the fastest 2 drivers there. Was able to get some results, but not what he wanted. Same thing here. They were fast. He just hasn't been able to maximize, and he told me that yesterday. He goes, I just need that breakout. We got to have a race where I'm able to get the job done. And again, didn't start particularly well, a little further back in the field in the 9th position, but up to 6th position right now. And if you look at the lap times, trying to close in, he was 0.6 quicker than Sundaramurthy last time by. It could be a run back into the top 5 for Enam Ahmed, as you had said.
Louis Foster, again, he is clearly in front, easily in front, and the lead continues to grow. 4.6 seconds is the lead. Again, those you watching on the video board, that is the battle for 2nd and 3rd between Jack William Miller as well as Braden Eves.
No doubt about it. The Jay Howard driver development cars are fast. Braden Eves trying to come back from that DQ yesterday to get himself a good result. Currently 3rd. Fast lap of the race belongs to his teammate, though, Wyatt Prokopchik, a 1:23.486. Prokopchik, fastest driver on the racetrack. Trying to close up here on Nolan Siegel as well. There he is. In fact, coming out of the corner up there on Siegel. We may see a battle for Prokopchik going to 7th. He's been the driver to watch here midway through this race. 13 laps down, or 12 laps down, 13 to go, right at the halfway point. And there's the pass into turn number 7. Prokopchik goes into P7.
And Prokopchik has made up 5 places now in this race. Started on the outside of row number 6, so he has moved as much as any driver has so far. Again, at the halfway point of this 3rd race of 3 this weekend for the Indy Pro 2000 drivers.
I would say this is the best performance I've seen out of Wyatt Prokopchik in these years here in the road to Indy. He has taken this car, picking it up, and moving forward, and has made really strong passes on the outside of 1, inside of 1, inside of turn number 7. I don't think he's done. As we said, only halfway through, a lot of laps still to go, and there's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Miller, Eves, and Reese Gold not done either. Big run down the straightaway for Braden Eves. He's been getting very close to Jack William Miller into the braking zone. Let's see if Eves can get it done. Does he lunge down to the inside? He does not, but closes to within a car length, coming out of 1. Little bit of trouble there for Miller. Eves is going to try the outside. Does he hold it? He gets pinched off at the exit. Miller holds on to the spot. This is a battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Not quite a clean run through turn 1 for Jack William Miller.
But again, the big winner there wasn't Jack William Miller. It was Reese Gold
100%.
again because of the battle for 2 and 3. That allowed Gold to make up some time. Gold was really about a half second behind that group. He's going to be much closer the next time by.
Wait for Eves to make a lunge down the inside, and there's the pressure lockup. They are putting the pressure on Miller, and he locks up the left front just a little bit. Jack William Miller looking to try to get that podium finish that has eluded him thus far this season. He needs to settle down, stay focused. He's got 2 hungry young guns behind him, but he just needs to focus on where he is.
And by the way, in the group behind that, Enam Ahmed has charged the front now. So Enam Ahmed has made up a spot on Yuvan Sundamaruthy. So Ahmed has now raced his way into the top 5.
And look who's right behind them. Yeah, Sundaramurthy's right there. Prakacic as well. Wyatt Prakacic trying to make a move here now on Sundaramurthy. We got a lot of racing throughout the field. Foster, Miller, Eves, Gold, and Sundaramurthy the top 5. Ahmed in 6th. Prakacic 7th. Siegel 8th. Kaminsky 9th. Porto now in 10th as they run on the racetrack. Top 3 drivers, Gold, Siegel, and Foster. And the points, just 5 points. And here's a fight further back. That is, I believe, is that Prakacic to the inside of Sundaramurthy? It is for P6. Another pass for Wyatt Prakacic. The march forward continues. What a drive for Wyatt, as he has now got himself to P6. Next up would be Enam Ahmed. What a great drive for Wyatt Prakacic, and always fun to watch a driver potentially have that career run. +6 on the race. Greg, you've been calling him through all the way, too. This is a big, big drive for Wyatt Prakacic.
Louis Foster is running his own race at this point. There is a great battle right now for 2nd and 3rd. Again, Jack William Miller has been holding off Braden Eves and others as long as he can. He is still currently in 2nd, but he has been under duress seemingly lap after lap in that 2nd position, and that continues now with Eves right behind him.
Yeah, Braden Eves, multi-time winner in both USF 2000 and Indy Pro, a former USF 2000 champion as well. Jack William Miller has not yet got that first win, and he would love to have it here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Today it's going to be a battle for 2nd, and he is getting challenged by one of the drivers who's been a star over the last 4 years in this Road to Indy program. A ton of pressure from Braden Eves, and I'll tell you, Reese Gold not done yet as well. We still have a lot of laps remaining here. We're 16 to 25 or 15 to 25, still 10 laps to go. Eves' pressure has been consistent. Here's the big lunge down the bottom into turn number 1. Book it. Eves goes through to P2. Miller back to 3rd. Now he'll have to fight with Reese Gold, but that was a long push. Consistent pressure, Greg. That's how you get the job done here. Keep that pressure up and then make that lunge into 1.
I think for Jack William Miller now it may be just a fight to stay on the podium at this point again. He did a great job. We're looking about for 10 laps to hang on to that number 2 position, but he's got 9 more laps to clear after this one, trying to stay on that podium here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, another left front lockup for Jack William Miller as well. That tire's going to keep locking up if he's punishing it like he is. Getting pressured here by Reese Gold. Great run for Eves, and again, you think about the mental side of it. Wins yesterday, Greg, huge after the horrific incident, the wreck that he had back in 2020 in turn number 11, neck injury, skull fracture, but able to come back the next year with exclusive Autosport. The win was vindication yesterday, really kind of cleared out the cobwebs of what's happened before, but then a technical DQ after the race had to hurt him mentally. But man, he comes back as it is right now, up 5 or 6 spots right now? Yeah, started 7th up to 2nd place right now for Braden Eves. What a great run.
So it is Foster, Eves in the 2nd, Miller in 3rd. And we've got a problem, I believe, with the number 55 as he comes in 9th. So Gold dropped all the way to 9th that time through.
What has happened? Yeah, an issue for Reese Gold, winner earlier today, and he was literally sitting 3rd spot in the points. This is going to be tough for Reese Gold and the Juncos Hollinger Racing Machine, slowing on the front straightaway. We'll see what happens to Gold coming down to 9th. Is it terminal, or did he just have an issue? Looks like he's continuing to fall back. Yeah, he's getting rolled up here right now by, I believe, Jordan Missig and Josh Green. That's got to be gutting. Bianca, you've raced a lot of events before. When in go-karting, it may happen when the chain comes off, whatever it may be. But, man, when you're racing and you're strong and something happens mechanically, it is an absolute
Worst thing that can happen.
Right?
Yeah.
But what do you do as a driver? Can you just compartmentalize it and put it behind you?
I mean, you try to. You do your best to think forward for the next race, but for your race to end, just doing something that's not completely your fault, it's definitely very tormenting, and it's difficult to push it behind, but you try to.
Greg, I don't think people really think about how big of a mental game racing is, the ups and downs of the sport itself, especially when you're a young driver hoping to become a pro. Your kind of hopes and dreams are riding on every race.
Think about this. They're going to be on track in terms of the actual racing itself. While it's 3 races, we're talking about an hour 10, an hour 15 over the course of 2 days. and you spend weeks, months
Agreed.
thinking about what's going to happen in terms of 20-minute chunks at the time, absolutely, it's more mental than anything else that you do.
Yeah, hours in the gym, pushing yourself to limits you didn't think you had, just to try to make sure that you're physically fit enough. This is definitely a tough sport, both mentally and physically. And again, so many of these young drivers on the road to Indy dreams of being part of this NTT IndyCar series. And events like this, where you end up having a wreck or you don't finish, could potentially steal away that championship, that scholarship, Greg, that has taken so many drivers to the front. If it weren't for the scholarship, we probably wouldn't be seeing Kyle Kirkwood running with AJ Foyt Racing.
And again, so really it is the race for the podium now. Again, Foster has checked out on the field. He is over 8 seconds in front of second place and currently Eves. Eves is about a second gap between he and third place and Miller. So the driver that is now filling up the rearview mirror of Jack William Miller is Enam Ahmed. Again, started on the inside of row number 5. Right now he is in 4th. And the person in front of him is the difference between getting on the podium and not today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and 8 laps still remaining, a long time to go. You wonder about the drivers going back-to-back races here this morning. Who is physically fit? I know Jack William Miller does a ton of work, works out a lot with Gabby Chavez. He's at Pit Fit. These guys work out hardcore. But this is when, if you are tired, it's going to start to play. You've got back-to-back races. You put in 50 laps on the racetrack. How are your tires as well? Are you on a fresher set of tires? Did you use up a set of the opening race? For Jack William Miller, he and Enam Ahmed kind of battling back and forth. And here's that number 55 of Reese Gold, and is he actually going to stall potentially on the racetrack right now? We'll see what happens here. This could change things if we get a full course yellow.
This changes the race for everybody if that car cannot get off of the racing line. This means a lot of the hard work that Foster has done.
Down on the exit turn number 3 right now.
Could be completely going away.
7 laps remaining. As they put 18 in the books, it'll be 19 in the books next time by. Not quite sure yet where the 55 of Reese Gold is. And a quick look up at Aaron Likens, the flagman here in the tower, and he's got a couple of yellow flags in his hands. We may be going full course, depending on whether or not Reese Gold can get that stricken car off the racetrack. And indeed, I think we're going full course yellow, folks. Indeed, we are. It was an 8.6 second lead for Louis Foster, and it will get erased with a full course yellow as Reese Gold comes to a stop on the racetrack in turn number 3. So we'll stack him and pack him once again. This is going to give Braden Eves, Jack William Miller, Enam Ahmed, and Wyatt Prokopchik new life to find out where they could finish when this race is all said and done.
Let's take a couple of different storylines here. First of all, for Jack William Miller, I think mentally this is a respite. I think it doesn't mean that he's really gained any ground, but he has spent the entirety of the race looking behind him, and so now, at least mentally, he can reset to some degree. But now let's talk about, I think, the driver that has the biggest opportunity here, and that is Wyatt Prokopchik. Wyatt started 12th, wasn't thinking about a podium. Not only do you have the third-place driver not that far in front of you, you have the first-place driver in terms of Foster not that far in front of you as well. Obviously, Gold gets a restart here to kind of get back on the racing circuit. But to me, couple of biggest winners of that yellow. Clearly it wasn't Foster. I'd put Miller and Prokopchik in that group.
I agree. I think both those drivers with a chance to press the reset button and get at it. I'm not really sure what Reese Gold is doing here right now in the number 55. I would bet that race control could be on with him right now. They want to stop him because he's gone backwards on the racetrack. They're trying to stop him. He's gone back out here onto the escape road. I would assume race control on the radio with him right now. You can see the AMR IndyCar safety crew was trying to stop him there as well. I don't know why he would have came backwards out onto the racetrack after bringing out that full course yellow. Yeah, they're telling him to shut this thing down right now. I think Reese Gold's race is done. There's no way he's going to be able to hold on to that position now. So, indeed, a bit of a shakeup here as that 8.8 second lead for Louis Foster goes away. He'll have to do a restart here, which is tough at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Greg. As you know, it's one of the longest restart zones in the sport, all the way down into turn number 1. Foster's going to have to get a fantastic jump if he wants to hold off Braden Eves.
I would say this, at least, however, no one has seemingly had the power or the speed that Foster has had. So, yeah, while they're all a lot closer to you than they were, because he was really off running his own race, We're from about lap 4 or 5. He was kind of on an afternoon cruise out there, to be frank. There was no traffic in front of him. He still has nothing but open air, and he's got the fastest race car so far.
Indeed, the fastest driver thus far over the body of work of 18 or 19 laps. Fastest outright lap, Wyatt Prokachik, a 1:23.488. But Prokachik's going to go to work on Ahmed on Miller, Miller on Eves. This is going to be a gunfight here for the final couple of laps here right now. They're being shown the 1 to go this next time by. That'll put lap 20 in the books right now. It'll be lap 21 when they come back across, so it'll be a 4-lap shootout to cap off our final Road to Indy race of the weekend. We hope you've enjoyed a triple header for both the USF 2000 and Indy Pro. Of course, Indy Light still has their final race of the weekend coming up, as we have lots of racing still to come on the day, but always exciting to have the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
An Indy Lights race will take place a little bit after 1 o'clock. And again, the start time has been moved up ever so slightly for the GMR Grand Prix. Green flag for that event will be at 3:07. 3:07 is when the flag will be dropped for the main event of the afternoon.
White flag, as we said, didn't shown the 1 to go. We will go green when we get back around here. We'll have 4 laps of racing. Reese Gold has been parked on the outside of the racetrack. You will be officially classified in 15th position. So here's your top 10 as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Louis Foster with the lead. It is Braden Eves in second. Jack William Miller in third, Anam Ahmed in fourth spot. It's Wyatt Prokachik, who has driven from 12th up to 5th. Yuvan Sundaramurthy in 6th, Nolan Siegel in 7th, Colin Kaminsky 8th, Kiko Porto in 9th, and Josh Green 10th. Jordan Missig, Lindsey Brewer, and Jonathan Brown and Charles Finelli rounding out the 14 drivers who remain on the track. Man, this is going to be exciting as we go back to racing. Bianca, give me your thoughts on restarts. I love them myself. I think that so much can happen. What do you think about a restart here for these drivers?
I actually experienced my first ever race restart in Miami.
Yeah.
And I was panicking. I had no idea what I was going to do. I couldn't hear my engineer because of the radio problems, but it's always just so, panicking. It's always you just don't know what's going to happen. You make sure you try right close behind the driver in front of you and try to get a good head start, but it is so hard.
All about taking advantage of the opportunity. That's what we talked when we had Billy Fraser up here yesterday from Exclusive Autosport. Everything he says, all a restart means to me is opportunity. And that's what you got to look for coming down into turn number 1, because you don't know what's going to happen. You can't really strategize on where you're going to go. You really have to react.
For Louis Foster, there is air and opportunity. For those behind him, just opportunity, as it will be single file coming down this time through.
Wait for Louis Foster to get punch off, trying to get a good restart on Braden Eves. Eves, a multi-time winner, as I said, here on the road to Indy. Foster looking to get his first victory. Out they come onto the front straightaway. Eves pretty close there for the draft down into turn number 1. He'll try to stay with them. Jack William Miller not close enough. Prokachik going to the inside of Anam Ahmed. Prokachik making the move. Here comes Eves to the outside. Louis Foster trying to hold the position. Deep on the brakes. A little lockup for Foster, but he holds the spot. He goes to P1, and look at Jack William Miller. Shot out of a cannon in turn 1. He'll put himself on the gearbox of Braden Eves. That's what Foster needs. He needs Miller to get aggressive on Eves.
Again, the pass for position, though, in the top 5 was Prokachik on Ahmed. So Prokachik is into 4th. Again, he has gained 8 spots so far in 21 laps of this race.
What a tremendous drive for Wyatt. The best we've seen at him in his career. Look at this. Foster's got open racetrack. Here comes Jack William Miller to the inside. Locks it up side by side with Eves. Does he get the spot back over to turn 8? They're going to go side by side again. No, he had to check up. Eves is through. Ahmed coming through as well. Anam Ahmed able to get back by. So move Ahmed up into the 3rd spot. That was a veteran call there for Anam Ahmed. Seeing what's happening in front of him. There's the opportunity, and he took it.
Best battle on the racetrack, folks, as they will come back towards the front straightaway. Appears to be the battle for 3 and 4. That is Ahmed and Jack William Miller. They are duking out going into the corners. This may not be decided until the checkered flag flies.
Ooh, Jack William Miller thinking the inside of turn number 13. That is a tough place to try to get a pass done. And because of that, lost some gap. And here comes, again, Wyatt Prokachik. But he had to pinch off the entrance onto the front straightaway. Didn't get the run. But Prokachik going to tuck it back to the bottom again. Who has got the braking skills into turn 1? Into the move. Down to the bottom goes Jack William Miller. And another lockup for Anam Ahmed. He'll lose 2 spots, maybe 3. Kaminsky's got to check up. That's similar to what we saw before when Gold had the issue, and indeed a number of drivers getting through. Jack William Miller finds himself back in P3.
Jack William Miller back into a podium spot, and again, 1 and 2 have somewhat checked out on the rest of the field. The action really much further back at the pack. That is the most entertaining part of the race course right now.
I think Nolan Siegel had to go to the right side of the switchback there, so we'll see how that plays. How about 6 wide into turn number 7? Further back, one driver is going to go off of the grass for sure. That might have been, I think, one of the Paps cars or one of the, one of the Paps cars off, having to bring it back on. That might have been Kaminsky, as they just tried to stack it into turn number 7. You just can't go 3 or 4 wide through that corner, Greg.
I'm not sure you can go 2 wide in that corner, and they were trying to go 3 or 4 wide in that corner.
Maybe if you're best friends side by side on purpose. Otherwise, as you said, there's just not a lot of room. Another driver off through the grass coming out of turn number 12 into the 12, 13, 14 combination. We knew this was happening. This was going to be a dash to the end. Louis Foster stretching out 1.5 seconds the lead. Here comes Prikacic. Both these drivers trying to get their first podiums of the year. Prikacic around the outside in the J. Howard driver development car. You know Miller's going to send it up the bottom. Indeed he does, and they make a bit of contact on the exit. Prikacic had to check up a little bit there, Greg, but I'll tell you, gloves are off right now. Anam Ahmed back up in there as well, P5.
That battle for third brought Ahmed back into the mix again. That is the battle for the final podium spot on your video boards. That was drivers and spots 3 through 6, with Siegel somewhat joining that group on the back end. Again, the real fight on the race course is the battle for third. Miller, Prikacic, Ahmed, currently in that order.
I'll tell you, the temperature in this race is rising rapidly. You can see the desperation for some of these drivers who have not yet been able to get that podium. And it's not just an everyday podium either. It's a podium at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They all want to get it done here to stand up here at IMS. Here's a look at the replay. This is what we just saw. This is down into turn number 1. Check this out. 4 wide. Lindsey Brewer down to the bottom of the racetrack. Missig's in there. Kaminsky's in there. As they all dive into the bottom, into turn number 1. Everybody trying to get through cleanly. Brewer up on the curbing on the inside, getting the car to rotate. I'm telling you. White flag flying this time by for Louis Foster. This is it for the Brit. In fact, the Brit's trying to win both races here in round number 3. Here's the fight still for third. Miller's going to run the bottom. Prikacic trying the outside. We've seen this before. Back down into turn number 1. Prikacic's going to have one more shot, Greg, and that's going to be down in turn 7.
Prikacic, if he didn't just barely graze that interior wall, he came awfully close because he was trying to steer that way. And frankly, there's an incident now between Miller and Prikacic going into turn number 1. So even how that one plays out in terms of who crosses the yard of bricks first for third, that could be reviewed by the stewards at the end of this race.
Here comes the run down into turn number 7. This will be for that final position on the podium. Miller on the inside, Prikacic on the outside. Miller going to come across the bow to hold him off. A great fight further back between Josh Green, Kiko Porto, and Jonathan Brown. But let's go back to the front of the pack here right now. It took 7 races here in Indy Pro 2000. He's had some great runs throughout the season to start things off. He will come out of here sitting second in points behind Nolan Siegel, but working his way through the last couple of corners to get his first career road to Indy victory. What a drive from the front row. Here he is out of turn number 14. Count him a road to Indy winner. The victor in Indy Pro 2000 for Exclusive Auto Sports. It's Louis Foster. Foster with the win over Braden Eves, finally breaking the goose egg. And Eves finishes second. A photo finish at the line between Jack William Miller and Wyatt Prikacic. The margin just 65 thousandths of a second. Miller ends up in third, Prikacic fourth, and Anam Ahmed rounding out the top 5.